cold out there.
I love it. You're wearing like a t-shirt underneath your coat.
And there's another shirt under there. You know what? This is getting too hot. I'm gonna have to. Anyway,
Better?
moving on. Oh, even this thing, I'm gonna roll the sleeves up too.
What would you say is your first tip for Japanese winter?
That was a new concept for me too.
Really?
Yeah. Ding ding. Ding.
Burn
Yeah,
out
you're
chicken!
dead.
Action. Hello!
Hello. It's cold out there.
You're like the most bundled up I think I've ever seen you.
I look bundled up or
Ever.
like some type of, I don't know, Eastern Bloc terrorist in winter. Pretty warm though.
Welcome back to the waiting room. I'm
Hello.
Rachel,
I'm Ante.
and we live in Hiroshima, Japan. And the waiting room is where we talk about different subjects. And as you can tell by my very warmly dressed co-host over here, today we're talking about surviving Japanese winters. And this is for tourists and for residents.
Yep.
Right? We did a really great video on surviving Japanese summer. If you haven't checked it out, be sure to check it out. I'll put a link below. But it had a pretty amazing response to that video about how to survive Japanese
That's
summer.
right, actually. Yeah, that was pretty good.
It was one of our most watched videos, I think.
Right? Not bad.
So in the spirit of this very cold season,
Mhm.
we thought we'd talk about how to survive Japanese winter.
Yeah.
I love it. You're wearing like a t-shirt underneath your coat.
And there's another shirt under there. You know what? This is getting too hot. I'm gonna have to fix myself up.
Too
here.
hot for YouTube.
Yeah, man. You know it.
Are you
And I got a
more-
neck thing too. Oh,
You do have a neck thing.
wow, man.
I thought that was just your beard, but
My beard
your
grows
scraggly
back
beard.
quick, man.
Yeah, that's your neck thing.
I can grow one back in like half a week, I reckon. Anyway,
Better?
moving on. Oh, even
Better.
this thing, I'm gonna roll the sleeves up too.
Yeah, that seems
Yeah,
more
that's
like
a bit
it.
better because we got the heat on here.
Yeah,
So
it's nice and warm in here.
mm,
So,
moving on.
Japanese winter. If you are a tourist,
Yeah.
what would you say is your first tip for Japanese winter?
Japanese winter.
Yeah.
Well, my first trip was winter.
That's right. That's right. It was a
So,
snowboarding.
well, yeah, that's it. Snowboarding
trip.
trip. So my thing was just clothes, making sure I had warm clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, well, coming from Sydney, you know, we got winter, but
Yeah.
we don't have snow.
Yeah.
So this whole idea of thermals was a new thing for me.
I mean, it really depends on where you're going in Japan,
Right?
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm thinking about if you are coming to Hiroshima in the wintertime, and Hiroshima winter starts getting pretty cold, I would say November, December.
Yeah. Yeah.
January, February are probably the coldest months.
Mhm.
So we're in the middle of the coldest. Sorry, you're gonna have to excuse my voice. It'll kind of come in and out. I recently had a bout of COVID.
She had the
I
plague.
had the plague for the first time ever. It was not fun. Sometimes it goes in and out, but let me take a drink and
Drink away.
that'll segue nicely.
Nice.
Okay.
Mm.
If you're a tourist coming to Hiroshima in the wintertime. Now, if you are from a country that does not have winter, if you're from like Singapore or like, those countries that don't have any winter whatsoever, just
Right,
like
yeah.
eternally hot,
Mhm.
you're going to need the basics.
Mhm.
Your scarves, your hats, your gloves, your warm coat.
Scarf. That was a new concept for me too.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. 'Cause Sydney. Never really wore one. Never needed one.
So I have a scarf here that actually can double. It's quite big.
Mm.
It's quite huge. It folds out to like this. So it can double as like a shawl, as like a lap blanket. I highly recommend getting yourself one that can do all those things.
I've got a nice, big one too that can, because you can just wrap it right around the face too.
Yeah.
Didn't bring it because I don't know where it is. I haven't used it this winter because I haven't found it. It's somewhere in the cupboard, but so I've just been using this little.
Well, that's really not the best spot
It's
to put
not
it in the
bad
winter.
though. So because I use this on my motorbike usually when
Oh,
it's
the neck
cold.
thing?
So Well, it's the neck thing, and then it goes over the
Over his
face,
face.
as you saw before.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
so that it's like a good backup, just a little neck warmer scarf
Yeah.
thing. So
There's this concept in Japan called sankubi.
Mm.
Okay, so the 3 necks. So the first is your actual neck, and the second is your wrist, which is the neck of the hand, and then the last one is your ankle, which is the neck of the foot.
Yeah.
And if you keep these 3 necks, these sankubi, warm, it's sort of said to help ward off colds.
Yeah. Yeah.
So bring thick socks, bring nice gloves that don't what is it? They're like windproof.
Yeah,
Because
windproof,
sometimes
and then there's also like is it? What's the
windproof,
word?
waterproof.
Is it Gore-Tex or something like that? Where you got the
Yeah.
But
Like
that's
a
also maybe
lined
more for like
glove.
snow stuff as well too.
Well, like
where
if you're gonna be in Hiroshima, if you're gonna be walking around, I don't think you need to worry about windproofing as much.
Yeah.
But if
yeah.
you're gonna be like on a bike, if you're like doing a bike rental tour, you really want to make sure your gloves are windproof because your hands will get quite cold.
Yep.
So I always tell people if you're from a country that has winter, so for me, I'm from Maryland, we had winter or lots of harsh winters. So I kind of knew what I was getting into. But if you are from a country that doesn't have winter, make sure you have your scarves, your hats, your gloves. Also, make sure you invest in some heat tech.
Heat tech.
From Uniqlo. Yeah, I
know it.
They're these thin, if you don't know what heat tech is, it's like a thin material, but it keeps in warmth. I believe there's
Pretty
like
much
small,
like a thermal, right?
I think there's like small metallic threads in there because you can't wear this when you get an MRI.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I think there's metallic threads that sort of retain the heat.
Yeah.
So make sure that you invest in clothes that are going to keep you warm, especially if you're going to be walking around, because Hiroshima is a very walkable city, but the wind does kick up.
Winter hits, I live in heat tech pretty much.
Yeah.
Because I got under the shirt, got the leggings on as
you get
well.
the leggings.
Socks as well.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, not sponsored by Uniqlo or anything, but like
I'd take it though.
Yeah, we would definitely take it. But heat tech is really great.
And they got different grades, right?
Yeah, they got like
You
the
got
ultra
normal
warm.
heat, and then yeah. It's like heat tech plus.
Because like after you wear heat tech for a few years, don't you feel like it loses its like potency? It gets like less warm.
Yeah. It's like it's kind of working, or is it a psychological thing?
I don't know, but like I feel like almost every year I end up buying.
Do you need to recharge them?
Yeah, like I have no idea, but I definitely feel like they're a really great investment. And Uniqlo it's such a global brand now. You could probably find it anywhere if you live in a place that has winter. I don't know if they sell it in places like that don't have winter. But
I think they might, because it's become a very big brand. Because then they've got the summer version.
The summer one. Airism.
Airism, right?
Yeah, Airism.
Don't wear that in winter.
Yeah. Definitely want to stay warm. Definitely want to layer up for sure.
My wife got me socks a few weeks ago, like the thermal ones, and I've never been that excited to get socks.
It is kind of exciting.
It was. Warm, it was like, oh wow.
Very important. Another really great tip, I think, for tourists is if you know you're going to be walking around in the cold, much like in our summer video where I was talking about getting frozen drinks from the kombini.
Ah, yes.
You can get
that on my list, yeah.
Hot drinks.
Yes.
Hot drinks from the kombini. This is a lemon tea that I bought because my throat's probably going to give out halfway through this podcast.
My favorite lemon tea, by the way.
Yeah.
The cold one.
Yeah.
Best.
So this is a hot, you can see it says hot on the top of the thing. So it's like a nice hot drink.
There we go.
Yeah. And you can hold this in your hand. You can put it in your pocket.
Yeah.
And it'll help keep you warm. Admittedly, I mean it's in a pet bottle. It's not going to be like super warm for super long. But it is really nice that if you're quite cold and if for some reason your gloves aren't keeping your hands warm enough, you can just like hold it. And it's like a nice little like hot water bottle heater thing.
I remember like being at the ski fields, and it's the first time, and I was like, hot drinks, vending machine, stop for a break. You usually get the little cans, but you just be holding that and putting it in my pocket and just holding onto these cans.
Yeah, because the cans really work super well.
Yeah, I think they're a lot warmer. But
yeah.
But you can tell, so anyone who hasn't come, it's their first time, winter, you don't know if it's a hot or cold drink, look at the price, because they usually, when winter hits, they change the tags, so
also,
it'll be
it's
blue.
Like usually, like red for the warm.
Red for the warm ones, blue for the cold ones, so pretty easy to spot.
And you'll never have a vending machine that is all hot drinks.
That's right, yeah.
But you can have them that are all cold.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't see myself buying one in summer.
But there's never an all hot one. But they have a lot of different varieties. There's like regular green teas. like cocoa, coffee, like anything that you could imagine wanting in a hot drink. They definitely sell it, and it's really nice to just walk around with it. If you would prefer something that stays warmer for longer, we have a few options that I brought. I have brought show and tell today.
These aren't
ladies and
edible, though.
gentlemen. I mean, in the
Or
technical
don't drink 'em.
sense,
Yeah.
I suppose you could, but I don't think it would work out too well for
Don't
you.
do it.
These are little hand heaters called ɪṛᴏ. And you can see they're quite thin. This one has a sticky adhesive on the back. This is a larger one that does not have any sticky adhesive on the back. Did you know about ɪṛᴏ before you came to Japan?
You know what? I didn't. Yeah.
Did you
Again, I
do
don't think it was
camping back
really-
in Australia?
No. I mean, there's places to camp and that, but no.
So here's the crazy thing about ɪṛᴏ.
Go on.
When I was a Girl Scout, we would go camping
I didn't
sometimes.
know you were a Girl Scout. Go on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I was a Girl Scout. Um, so we used to go camping in like the fall and the winter. And at the camping supply store, they would sell these hand heaters.
Yeah.
I didn't know what they were called. I mean, they call them ɪṛᴏ in Japan. I don't know the official name.
Yeah.
But they would sell them with a little, like a felt pouch. You could put these in the
okay.
pouch. And these, once you expose these to air, they get really nice and warm. And especially if they're between 2 layers of cloth, like if you put it in a pocket or if you have a little pouch or whatever.
Yeah.
And my mom would buy these for me and we would use them. And I just called them like hand heaters. I never knew what they were. These are disposable.
That works. Yeah.
They last, this one lasts 24 hours. The one with the sticky on it that I showed you, the smaller one, lasts for 10 hours.
Which is really not bad anyway.
It's really
Come on,
nice.
10 hours is pretty good.
And it goes up to a maximum of 65 degrees Celsius. It generally runs about 51 or so.
Yeah.
So if you have this, if you're in a hot indoor environment and you have this on you, there is a risk of getting like a low grade burn. So you need to make sure that you're only using these when you're outside in the cold. But they are so nice because they heat up really quickly. You can put them in your pocket. You can put your hand in your pocket in there.
They're not that expensive. They come in different shapes too, right?
And they come in big boxes of like
Yeah,
20 or 30 or whatever, and they're really cheap.
You can pretty much get them anywhere, right?
Yeah, drugstores,
Yeah.
convenience stores, they
Yeah.
sell them everywhere.
They're easy to spot.
And the ones that have the adhesive backing, so this one, you stick it to like the inside of like your shirt, you put a sweater on over that.
Yep.
And it's just this nice like radiant heat source. And it keeps you really nice and warm.
Yep.
And they're disposable. You can just throw them away when you're done. So you don't have to like invest in another thing that I have here, which is a rechargeable ɪṛᴏ.
Oh, okay.
So this is my little rechargeable pocket ɪṛᴏ that my boyfriend gifted me a few Christmases ago.
Yep.
Well, if I say that, he's like, it wasn't me, it was Santa. He's adamant it was Santa. So Santa gifted this to me. It's a USB rechargeable hand heater. It has 2 settings, high and low. It's got this nice like fuzzy, like warm coating on it. And you like, there's a little button here that will light up if you tap it twice. So this is high. Ooh, I don't know if it's gonna, there you go. So you can see the light there. That means it's on. This is on high.
Yep.
You tap it another time, it's on low. And
How long
it
does that
heats
one
up.
last for? How long does that one last?
So this, it depends on if you have it on high or low.
Yeah.
If you have it on high, I think it'll last you like 3 hours. If you have it on low, it'll last much longer. But that's if you're using it consistently.
Right. Yeah.
I only use this when I go outside if I'm walking, like today, because today's raining. I will put this in my pocket. I'll have it on low, and I'll just use it when I'm walking. And then you can charge it with a USB port. And it takes really no time at all to charge, which is great. And this is, it's a lithium battery, so I don't know how much better for the environment it is than having a hand heater, but you're not throwing it away every time.
True.
So if you are interested in having a rechargeable one, you can recharge it with a USB port, so like on your computer.
Because I've seen something similar. Remember we were talking about summer, how they got like for people that are working have the vests, with the fan.
Yeah.
But they've got the winter version too, where it's a USB charged heater. I've also seen them as a motorbike rider as well. Some people have them
Really
like a
nice,
kit that you
right?
can actually put it into your jacket as well, and
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
It is
Well-
very cool, and it is super warm.
Haven't seen those ones though. That's pretty cool though.
Yeah, and it's it's got a little bit of weight to it, but it's not like heavy
Oh, that's not bad at
by
all.
any
no.
means.
Yeah, and also there's
I would say it's maybe it's about half of the weight of this.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
is
yeah.
what is this? 500 mil? Maybe not. somewhere. It's written on there somewhere.
I don't know.
Da, 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 da.
It's not like a 370 something.
It's 400. This is 400 mil.
Okay.
So it's maybe about the same as like a 200 mil or less. It's really not that heavy.
No. You're not going to notice that.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's also, with these versions, they've got shoe version, right?
The ones that you stick on your socks.
Yeah.
I love those. They're shaped like a little half circle.
Yeah.
And you stick it onto the bottom of your sock. And then when you're walking, it keeps your toesies nice and warm.
Because I get cold feet.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Isn't it like bad circulation or something like that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my circulation sucks because my toes are always cold.
I'm a defect.
Defective.
Yep.
No, we just like to think of you as differently effective.
That works. I'll take that.
Yeah. So those are.
Then I'll go home and cry.
There's a lot of different types of these kaido. They are so cheap. So if you know you're going to be walking around in Hiroshima, you know you're going to be going to the park, or you're going to be going to Miyajima, or walking around outside where the wind is whipping at you, make sure you have a little kaido. If you want to invest in these little chargeable kaidos, they're on sale at any like electronic store. Another really great tip that you kind of mentioned with your...
Before we move on, there was also one more version I just remembered as well, which is good for when you're traveling.
Which is?
They've got the eye mask versions.
Oh yeah, the little heated eye mask things.
Never knew about them. Again, my wife.
Those year round though. They're so
when
good.
we went traveling. Yeah, so on the plane. And just the same. You open it up, it just heats up,
like
and
a
it's
sleep
over.
mask, right?
Yeah.
It's a sleep mask. You put it. There's a little. You can put it on your ears, and then it like steams.
That's it. Yeah,
it, like, gently steams your eyes.
Usually, and they're scented as well.
Yeah, they've got like yuzu or like There's so many of them, and they're all so good. I love them.
And I find it hard enough to not relax, just sleep on the plane. So I'll take anything that helps.
Yeah,
that's just really, really nice too. So. And just blocks out all the light too. So.
Yeah, which is very essential for planes.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, that's fine. Piggybacking off of the neck warmer that you have.
Yeah.
Another thing, because it is very dry in Hiroshima in the winter and in Japan in the winter, mask. You want a mask. And the reason you want this is twofold. Okay? So, first of all, it's going to make sure that if anybody around you is sick, you ain't getting sick. Just first off the bat. Second, it kind of acts as like a mini humidifier because your breath is kind of coming back at you.
Yeah. Yep.
So, and because it's so dry in the winter here, like ridiculously dry. So if you know you're going to be visiting, I would pick up some masks. And like your hotel room's also going to be, if they don't have a humidifier, your hotel room's going to be bone dry.
Yeah.
So I actually sleep wearing a mask in the wintertime because my throat gets all scratchy if I don't.
Yep.
So pick up them. They're super cheap to buy, like a pack of masks.
Again, I use that combo on the plane with the mask and the thing because, again, really dry.
Makes you look
and
insane,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah.
That combination is actually kind of scary because it's like your whole face is covered with stuff. But the masks really help with the dryness.
Yeah.
Because it's so killer, brutal, and dry. So I actually sleep with a mask on in the wintertime because it helps my throat not be as like severely damaged by all the dryness. Like I have a humidifier, but like you're not going to keep it on all night because electricity bills. And we'll talk about the electricity bills later for the residence portion. But for tourists, masks are super cheap. You can get them almost anywhere.
Again, you can get boxes of those.
Yeah. So like do yourself a favor, pick up some masks. They come in like cool colors. This is like grayish, it's like a gray beige with like brown. They have like pink and purple and black and white and like all colors in between. Pick up some masks. Definitely highly recommend that.
Or you can just get the boring surgical looking ones.
Just the regular ones. I mean, they all work and they really help. I feel like it helps keep your face really warm. Like when I'm riding my bike and stuff, I'm like, this is actually, or I can kind of I have a mask on, I'll put my scarf up.
Well, that's just the thing. There's always been that mask culture here.
Yeah.
Way before the plague came around, people. Like, I remember the first trip here, and it's like, people wearing a lot of masks. Like,
but it's really like, it's such a nice humidifier kind of effect. And plus, like, you don't have to worry about getting sick. If there are people that are sick around you, I mean, I said that.
There are also a lot of people that are wearing masks not to even spread the fact that they're sick. They need to step out or, So.
Yeah, it really helps for sure. Let's see. Oh, another thing about the fact that it's very dry here. I recommend picking up some. This is ʟᴏ, which is like cough drops, but like less medicated. This is 봑ᴜ, which is very herbal and like soothing to the throat. So whenever I feel like my throat's getting a bit dry, even if I do have a mask on, maybe I haven't been hydrating as much.
Yep.
Pop one of these in your mouth, and you instantly feel like more hydrated, and like you can speak better. And they have like ʟᴏ, like these like throat, like cough drops in like so many flavors, like fruit flavors, mint flavors, herb flavors.
Yeah,
Like most of it just tastes kind of like candy.
Yeah.
And it might have like a small like herbal flavor to it, but most of it it's just like it's candy. It helps keep your throat hydrated. It helps keep you hydrated. So I definitely recommend buying any version of your favorite ʟᴏ.
Yeah,
Walking
like you were
around
saying,
with
man.
that.
So many versions, so many flavors.
Yeah, and it really helps. Like if you don't have a drink with you, but you feel like your throat's getting a little scratchy or dry.
Yeah.
Because like I'm telling you, it is so dry in the wintertime here.
Well, yeah, 'cause it's like aircon city anyway.
Yeah, it's like you feel like you're being like slowly turned into a piece of jerky. Yeah.
Jerky.
Jerky.
I like jerky.
Do you have any other tips for tourists visiting? And
Tips for tourists. So what we looked at? Heating. We looked at clothes. What else have I got on my list? We can move on to food.
Food.
Gotta
This kind of goes for both residents and tourists, I would say.
Yeah,
Do you have
works
any
for everyone.
go-to winter food?
Well, the first food I thought of, like when winter hits, you go to the kombini and you start to see the little oden stands.
And could you
And,
explain to our viewers what oden is for
Oden
those
is
who might
pretty
not be
much-
familiar?
So yeah, they've got their what would you call it? Like a big pot or squarish kind of pot.
Yeah.
It's just full of it wouldn't be a soup, kind of.
It's like a dashi stock.
Yeah. So some type of a watery stock. And basically you got some. There's a whole bunch of stuff. So it's hot. Daikon. That's radish.
Yep.
Boiled egg. Tofu. What else?
Like
was in there?
sausages,
Yep,
like
sausages.
ɪṭō
Whole onion.
an onion?
Yeah.
Some people do whole potatoes.
Yeah.
And you won't find that at the kombini, just to clarify.
Oh, no, you will, yeah.
An
Have
onion?
they stopped? Oh, no, maybe not the onion, but oden in general.
Yeah,
right?
oden,
Yeah.
You won't find an onion or a giant potato.
Yeah.
But sometimes places have octopus. Sometimes people do like sausages.
Yeah.
So it's like this dashi stock that you simmer all of these ingredients, and they just keep it simmering.
Yeah.
So it's this warm, stewed sort of soup experience.
Yep.
And you can go to the kombini and say, I would like some oden, and then they say, okay, what do you want? And then you say, okay, I want
Yep.
this,
One
this,
of
this.
these, one of these, one of these.
And then they put it in a little to-go cup for you, and you have some piping warm oden. It
You got a favorite?
basically, for me, okay, if I'm getting oden, what am I always going to order? Always going to order daikon because
Yep.
it's like thick cut and it's like juicy and like tender.
Yep.
I'm always going to get ʌtsage, which is like a triangle of deep fried tofu.
Yeah. I like that one.
Because
Yeah.
it really soaks up the broth.
Yes. Yeah.
And it has this great, like almost fluffy texture to it. I'm always going to get some version of like gyusuji, which is like beef tendons on a skewer. Because it's like it melts in your mouth because they've been stewing it for so long. Like the tendons get really nice and tender.
Yep.
The fat's kind of like rendered out into it. Really, really good. Those would probably be that and like an egg, a boiled egg.
I'm big on the
those
egg
are my tops.
and like the tofu. That's the problem with my two tops. And then, are you karashi or no karashi person?
Karashi
So
and
Japanese
yuzu
mustard, or yeah.
And yuzu kosho is like it's peppers and the zest of a yuzu citrus fruit mixed together, so it's kind of spicy,
Yeah,
but
just
kind
a
of
little
like
sauce that you can
citrusy.
add to give it a kick.
Yeah, it gives it both the karashi and the yuzu kosho. You gotta watch the amount because sometimes it's like, your sinuses cleared.
And that's not snorting it. If you did,
it's like that
wow.
that wasabi kind of sting to it a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
I really like, because in general, depends on who you are, on your culinary palate, so to speak. Well, oden can kind of be a bit like, yeah.
I mean, it
like
just tastes like dashi stock.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's got a light flavor by itself.
Yeah.
But you put the karashi on it, or the yuzu kosho
on it, yeah.
It gives it a nice kick, man. And like you said, clear your sinuses
It
too.
does. It does clear your sinuses.
Yeah. If no one's looking, just
And like,
get in there.
just.
Yeah. My favorite, one of my favorite ramen places.
Mhm.
Like they've got the best menu board. Literally 4 things, but oden is one of them.
As it
So
should be.
you walk in, it's like ramen, beer,
Of course.
oden, rice balls.
There you
That's
go.
all they sell.
That's all you
Perfect, man.
need.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you go to a ramen place that has oden, or if you go to an okonomiyaki place that has oden year round, you know you found a good place.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there are some places that do it year round. One of my favorite places, it closed down now, but they had year round oden, and they used to put whole potatoes in there. It was so good. It was so good. Just a whole fucking potato.
Yeah. Well, that was like me. I was surprised when someone's like, "Do you want an onion?" Like, what do you mean? Like,
Yeah.
dang.
Because
That
you
was
can really simmer like anything.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no like rules, and they even have like an oden, like a specialty restaurant that just does oden, and they had like so they would take like greens and stuff.
Yeah.
So like shungiku, which is like a nice leafy green,
Mhm.
and they would basically when you ordered it, they would take it in its raw form, and they would kind of like swish it around in the oden
Yeah,
soup just
yeah.
to get like wilt it a little bit.
Mhm.
And that's how they would serve like greens and stuff. Some people
Okay,
do
yeah.
tomatoes. Some people do there's regular oden. There's miso oden, which has miso in the dashi, and then there's also like black oden, which I believe is like a Shizuoka thing.
Yep.
I could be wrong, but they have like it's like a dark color stock, and they just like simmer the bejesus out of the ingredients.
Also, you might even find a bar or two that might have them.
You got to order it if they do.
Shuji, hallelujah. I don't know if he's done it this year, but the last few years when winter hit, like he's a bar,
Yeah.
but he would have
A bar with no food, by the way. If you go to Hallelujah, be sure you eat before you go.
Yep. Unless he's got the oden going,
Yeah, unless he
because
has
that's
that
like a rare
going.
thing, and having a few drinks and oden, it's a good combo, man.
It is it's a really
in
great
winter
combination.
when you know it's freezing outside, you're in there, it's warm. Hot sake.
Hot sake. There you go.
I know you're not really a fan.
Not a fan, no, but
of it.
that is definitely a winter thing.
Yep, I like it. Quite relaxing.
Yeah, I mean, I think people should try it if you're going to be
Yeah,
coming to
yeah.
Japan in the wintertime.
Why
and,
not?
And
Yeah.
there's an offering at your whatever drinking establishment you're at to try hot sake. I think you owe it to yourself to experience it, whether you like it or not.
Try it.
It's completely different.
Share it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
What else
sure.
we got for food? Oh, I think I also noted down nabe,
Nabe for sure.
which is what hot pot.
It's a hot pot.
Yeah.
So it's a giant pot that and nabe comes in so many different varieties of flavors. You can have like a simple one, which is like a kombu dashi stock. You can have like miso tonkotsu, like ramen-y flavored stock. You can do like curry, tomato. Like there's 8,000 variations of nabe under the sun. But do you have, this is like my family's favorite nabe. Like when it's wintertime, this is the nabe we have like first, or we have often. Because everybody's household has their own like
I don't think what it is
favorite nabe.
but we've got about 2 or 3 different ones.
What do you have? What's your
I
go-to?
forget what the name. Like this is just a really like a stock standard nabe, and I can't think of the name of it right now.
What do you put in it? What's your go-to ingredients for nabe?
Chicken.
Chicken
pieces. What would you call it in English? The negi.
Oh, it's like
Shio negi.
the big thick negi green onions.
Green onions.
They're like big. They're like leeks.
Leek. That's it.
They're kind of like leeks.
That. What else
Slightly
is put
thinner
in
than
there?
leeks. Yeah.
Oh, a few more vegetables. Other than that,
Do you have a shime? The whatever you put in last. So like rice or noodles or udon.
noodles.
Like what kind of noodles?
Just like the normal ramen style noodles.
Yeah.
Which is really I forget because one time we did one that was like a cheesy kind of nabe.
Yeah.
That was really, really good. And then once you've eaten, and that's kind of boiling away too, it's like there's a lot flavor country.
Yeah, that's flavor country.
Flavor country, man.
Nabe is
Put those noodles in there, and it's like, yes.
So shime is a very important part of nabe. Shime is like the last carbohydrate that you add to the nabe. It's like this is where we're going to take the leftover soup, leftover stock, and we are going to make we're going to use the last bit of like soup in there to have. You can have ramen noodles, you can have udon noodles, you can have rice noodles, you can have just rice in general. one of the things that me and my boyfriend make very often is I quite like a simple nabe, but I like to dip my ingredients in ponzu.
Yeah.
Which is soy sauce mixed with like a citrus juice. So like yuzu or any other kind of citrus. So we usually use like a kombu stock.
Yeah.
Must have tofu. Must have either chicken or pork. Must have
mushrooms. You're a mushroom person as well?
yeah, shiitake mushrooms for sure. I also like to put like atsuage, the deep fried tofu, in there as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I like to put like every like carrots, just like every kind of vegetable that I can find. Green leafy vegetables like mizuna, which is like a nice leafy vegetable, or like tomyo, which is like bean sprouts almost.
Yeah.
But a bit thicker. Chinese cabbage. So hakusai.
Yep.
Like I put daikon in there. Sometimes Michio's job is to make daikon oroshi, which is like grated daikon.
Oh yeah.
So you can have that. You put the ponzu on top of that, and then you can like have everything together. Generally, the shime of choice is udon, frozen udon. Just shove it in there, pop it in there. But like Michio's been into making like more adventurous nabe. So he made like he made like a Thai inspired nabe.
Oh, it wasn't like a spicy one or something.
So we don't really like spicy things, but so he's making it. I was in the other room, and he wasn't telling me what he was making, but I could start to smell like fish sauce.
Yeah.
And I was like,
"What's going on?"
I was like, fish sauce.
What's going on in there?
I was like, so he brings it in, and it's like fish sauce. And there's like there was like red pepper, like red bell pepper.
Can I say it? Something smells fishy.
Yeah. So a wee bit fishy. It was like red bell pepper, shrimp, and like a few other things, and then like what is it? The pad thai noodles, those like rice noodles and stuff in there. But it was just like the fish sauce was like overpowering everything, and I was like,
yeah, it's a bit much.
I was like, I love you. I love that you're making new things, but maybe this is not the vibe. Maybe this is like not the vibe.
Hey, try it once, eh?
Yeah, I was like, bless your heart, because he knows a lot of the he likes tonyu nabe, so like soy milk based nabe. He really likes that. So he'll make things with that. I made my first ever miso nabe. I also make a lemon nabe, where the stock is generally like kombu, and then you add lemon juice and then fresh cut lemons on top, which is really nice with chicken.
You get like the curry style one as well. I think that one just popped in my head.
Curry, tomato, like it's very like whatever you want to put in this hot pot, do it. Yeah. And it's a great way to eat tons of vegetables.
Try the fish sauce.
Yeah, right? Try the fish sauce. Try the fish stock. It's delicious.
But, no, really anything can go.
Yeah. And it's like you eat it generally with like, you can have nabe for one, because I have my little small nabe. But it's so much fun if you just have it with other people, you know.
It's quite social.
It's very social.
Yeah.
Very social.
People around and just, it's really nice.
So especially, and there'll be restaurants that offer nabe as well. But if you're a resident, for sure, buy yourself a little gas burner or an electric nabe if you want an electric one. Get yourself a nice nabe pot. And like, that's one of the big joys of winter is you get this bubbling.
Oh, they're even just those little gas burners. They cost nothing. Like
they cost nothing, yeah. Also, you can use them for like disaster preparedness as well. Exactly, so I quite like having them. But yeah, you got this nice. It's like bubbly and warm, and you know you start eating it, and you get really nice and warm and toasty, and especially if you eat it at the kotatsu.
On my list.
Yeah, residents. If you are moving to Japan, if you've been here and you have not, and you live somewhere that gets cold like Hiroshima, and you have not yet invested in a kotatsu, what are you doing?
What is a kotatsu?
Kotatsu is a table with a heating element under it, and they put a nice thick blanket over top of that.
All the way to the ground.
All the way to the ground, and you get under that blanket, and it's like what you want your bed to be in winter.
Yeah.
You know, when you get in bed, and if your sheets are like cold, you're like, oh, and you have to wait for it to warm up, and you wait like an hour, 2 hours, or when you just wake up in the winter and you've got your nice blanket and everything is so warm. That's what a kotatsu is like.
They're dangerous in a good way, though. Because when you're watching, it's in our place too. It's like, kotatsu in front of the TV.
You start drinking, you start snacking.
You don't want to move.
It's like...
It's too warm.
It is the most what was it? I was watching the real life adaptation. It's quite an old drama of Nodame Cantabile, which is a great story and about these university students at a music school. And one of them has a kotatsu, and one of the characters has never had a kotatsu before. So he gets in there and he's like, this is the most like non-violent thing, but it has such a way of like taking over people's lives that it's kind of an evil thing.
Yeah.
Because once you get into the kotatsu, you don't, it's like being in a nice warm bath or a warm onsen. Like you don't want to leave because it is so, here's the thing, residents. If you are about to move to Japan, to somewhere where it's cold, insulation, not a thing.
No.
Double glazed windows, not a thing. It's flipping cold. No central heating. For those of you, those Americans like me who love our central heating, no, you get one aircon unit in one room of your house. And yeah, the rest of your house is cold.
Yeah.
My house got down to 7 degrees.
Ooh.
7.
Nice.
Because I have windows that aren't double glazed and I have walls that are not insulated. So getting up to go to the bathroom, that's a chilly walk. It's a very chilly walk. And you're going to have to get used to wearing thick room socks with your slippers because your floor is essentially ice.
Yeah, pretty much. Freezing, man.
Like, I wear so much clothing in my house. I sleep in heat tech in a sweatshirt and like heat tech sweats and thick socks. And I have heat tech, not heat tech, Nitoris and Warm, which is like a heat tech for bedspreads and stuff. Yeah, because I have a space heater thing that's also a humidifier.
Yeah.
But it is very expensive to run it all the time. It's very expensive to run the heat all the time. Kotatsu also eat up a lot of energy. So your electric bill is going to be higher, your gas bill is going to be higher. Sometimes, especially this year, it's been quite cold in Hiroshima. We had a week of snow.
Oh, even just this morning.
We had snow this morning, and my pipes were on the very precipice of freezing because it got down to like wind chill of -9.
Okay.
So what you really need to be aware of is that if you are coming from a country that has central heating and you're used to central heating, you are going to have to get used to your house being a refrigerator, essentially. So
correct me if I'm wrong. So when I was with it, central heating, I don't think that's necessarily a thing in Australia, but in Japan, apparently they're saying it's again due to the earthquakes and that.
I mean,
and the moving of the building and pipes broken.
I could see that.
But then again, I was thinking about, but what about piping in general?
Yeah.
You know, just so.
I mean, I don't understand. I can get on board with, okay, look, Japanese summers are brutal.
Not defending it, by the way.
We've covered the Japanese summers are brutal, and you want to make a house that's nice and cool. But the fact that it's getting progressively hotter and progressively colder every year, double glazing windows and having insulation means you not only keep heat in, but also means you keep cold air in as well from your air. Like, we're just losing energy in houses over here and apartments.
Way to go.
Yeah, just losing it. So, like, if you are going to be moving here, just remember that you're really going to have to be prepared for a frosty cold toilet seat unless you got one of those fancy heated ones, which my apartment does not have. So you're going to have to really get used to being cold. Buy yourself a nice kotatsu. Invest in stuff like N-Warm or any other, like, materials for, like, bedding or sheets that are going to help retain heat and keep you warm. Because I feel like it's less... So summer is like drastic, right? Like you go outside and it's deadly. You're inside and it's deadly.
Yeah.
I feel like winter is less so in that respect.
Yeah, I think so. Especially like just going back to the kotatsu too, because they can be addictive. Yeah. It's heavenly, man.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to like pry yourself out from under the covers. Like,
the last few weeks, my 3-year-old, in the morning, the kotatsu is a problem because she'll be sitting there watching TV. Or sometimes just lying on the floor and she'll be under it up to her neck. And it's like, okay, we got to go. I don't want to go.
Yeah, I'd be like, I don't blame you.
We got to go. It's like, and then she'll just do I have to drag her out by the arms.
I don't blame her, man. Like, they're really nice.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that people do need to be worried about in winter is, have you heard of the phenomenon known as heat shock?
No.
Heat shock. So heat shock was actually in the news a few months ago because apparently a famous actress they believe died of heat shock.
Mhm.
It's something that
I'll say
usually
drugs, but go on.
it usually
Yeah.
affects the elderly population
Yeah.
more than the younger one. But so because houses are super cold, right?
Mhm.
And you have your bath, you know,
Yeah.
and you have your bath is nice and warm. The room there is nice and warm. The room the
Mhm.
bath is in. But when you go and you like undress in this cold room,
Yeah.
so when you're cold, your blood vessels
Yep.
constrict,
Yep.
right? And then you get into this nice hot bath, and then your blood vessels contract. Blood goes to your brain,
Mhm.
and you can either pass out or suffer a stroke
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
because of the temperature difference.
Mm.
And I know it usually affects elderly people, but I have actually passed out
Oh, really?
because of heat shock.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because it was New Year's Day. This is a while ago.
Mhm.
It was New Year's Day. And I decided to like I didn't take a bath the night before, so I was like, oh, it's cold. I'm gonna take a bath in the morning, whatever. And this is when I was still married to my ex-husband at the time. So he was like, all right, I'm gonna go to the convenience store or whatever. And so I was like, all right. So I was in the bath.
Yep.
Whatever. Blah blah blah. Take my bath, and I go to get out, and I'm sitting on the ledge of the bath.
Yep.
And I hear him come back in,
Mhm.
and he's like, hey, you won't believe it. Like, the pachinko parlor's open. And that's the last thing I remember.
Yeah.
When I came to, so my ex-husband he's pulling me out of the bath by my arm.
Yeah.
And I was like, to me, I thought it was like asleep. I
Yeah.
was like, why is somebody like pulling me like awake? Like, I
Oh,
want to go
that's
to sleep.
yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't know what happened.
Mm.
And I was like, what are you doing? He's like, you like fell into the bath water.
Yeah.
So you must have heard this
Big
giant
splash.
splash as I fell into the water. And
You
so
weren't doing a run up and bomb.
yeah.
No.
And so like he pulls me out, and I'm like, I have like a towel, and I'm just kind of like on our kitchen floor
Mhm.
being like, I don't understand what happened.
Yeah.
And I have quite low blood pressure in the morning.
Mhm.
So what happened is when I got up out of the bath too quickly, the cold air hits you when you're still very warm from the bath.
Yep.
Causes things to constrict, and
Gotcha. Yeah.
and just I
Oof.
didn't know what happened.
Yeah.
I don't know how I didn't crack my head open. Like, I have no idea. But it's really scary because there's no like warning signs or nothing. It's just you're sitting there and then you're not.
Yeah.
So if you are going to be, especially if you've been drinking alcohol, you're at an
Yeah.
even
Right.
higher risk of it. So
Mhm.
like, don't get drunk and then get in your bath.
Yeah.
And
Not
make
a good
sure
thing.
that the whatever you're changing, like, I don't have an official like changing room, like a ʟᴜᴛᴏ, which is called like literally a place to like change your clothes or whatever.
Yep.
But wherever you are like taking your clothes off to get into the bath, make sure that place is heated.
Yeah.
Make sure that
Yeah.
space is heated. Because that's one of the biggest, I think. Ooh.
Mm. Mm.
That's one of
Yeah.
the biggest, I think, threats that winter really brings.
But that's another moves us on to onsens.
Yeah.
Staying warm.
Yeah, don't get drunk and get into the
Don't get
onsen
drunk and
either.
get an onsens, but onsens are great
Hot springs. Hot springs are super great in the wintertime.
for people traveling.
And for residents.
First time visitors though might find it a little bit daunting because it's more of a mindset
It
thing.
depends on how comfortable you are with nudity
Yeah.
and where you grew up.
Mm.
So America is a very Puritan country. We're like, we can't get naked in front of people.
Australia's the same. Yeah.
So it's you kind of have to like psych yourself up in the beginning.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's just a bunch of old people, and they don't care.
Once you've done it the first time, I think that you just need to break that barrier in your head that first time.
Yeah.
And then it's like, because like I've told friends of my parents, they're like, "Whoa, how do you do that?" And it's like, you know what? We're not there to look at each other's junk. Well, I'm not anyway. But
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, like I think it's kind of nice because like when you're in the onsen, there's generally a lot of like old ladies,
Mhm.
and like you see a lot of age range of people, and it's
Yeah.
like everybody's body is different.
Yeah.
Everybody, and like it's kind of refreshing to see that
Mm.
because like you don't really get to like there's no other place really that you can see that like oh everybody's body ages differently, everybody's body shape is different, everybody's like situation is different, and nobody cares. Like, it's just like you're there.
That's the whole thing.
You're there. You're just doing your thing.
Yeah, and it's relaxing.
Yeah.
And if you can go to a place where it's like outdoors and it's winter, but you're like up to your neck and just really nice and warm. Yeah.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, the outdoor ones.
I don't want to go too much because I think onsen and onsen culture, we could do a whole topic
episode
on that one. But yeah.
But I think visitors and residents owe it to themselves to go at least once, even if you're like really uncomfortable with being naked in front of strangers.
Yep.
I think just try and go once. You owe it to yourself to go once.
The one I usually go to, well, I can't go in the winter because I don't have winter tires. It's up the mountains. But I did find another one where it's like I can go on the motorbike because it's just really not going to snow. The road's kind of fine. So, and that's the one outside.
Outside
Do
is
it.
so nice.
It's good. It's relaxing. Yeah. You got anything else?
Well, I would say winter is a really great time to visit Japan, I think. I think a lot of people want to come visit in the summer, but I'm like, honestly, the winter, I feel like the food scene is off the chart because all the like warm, delicious comfort foods come out. Also, I feel like it's just prettier because like, the cold air really helps like it's like the stars are really clear, the skies are really clear. Generally we don't get that much snow in Hiroshima this year. We've actually had a lot. It doesn't really stick in the city, but it will stick if you're going up to the northern part of the prefecture and there's great snowing and there's great skiing and snowboarding.
We only had it actually it came up on my phone not long ago, about 2 years ago, where it really came down in the city and like the next morning too, everything was white.
Yeah.
It was the first time I ever drove, no snow tires, and everybody was doing less than 20 kilometers an hour.
Yeah. People don't know how to walk in snow and ice here, and I grew up with it, so I know, but everybody else is like on their bike, and I'm like, are you insane? Like, you can see the tire tracks are like straight, and then they go like, oh, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. So, but if you're going to be coming to Japan, to a place where you know is cold, just remember to stay prepared, and there's a lot of really great, convenient ways to stay warm, to stay safe. If you're coming to live here and you know where you're moving has a whole bunch of snow, just remember that your housing situation and your heating situation is going to be very, very different.
If you're moving to Hokkaido, good luck.
Moving to Hokkaido, you really gotta ask your neighbors what they're doing. 'Cause that's a whole different shebang up there. But I will definitely say that like it's a very good time to visit because there are slightly less tourists as well. You're not going to be sweating all the time. You're not going to be miserable in the heat. You don't have to like wear sunblock all the time. You might want to be like a local, and when it snows, you can put up your umbrella.
Yeah.
Because that was something that never did back in Maryland. It was like snow is something you just walk out in it. There's no umbrella.
Yeah.
You don't treat it like rain. So when I was seeing all the people with umbrellas, I was like, oh, that's really smart. Actually
makes sense, right?
Because there's no dryers here to like throw all your like snowy, muddy clothes into.
Yeah.
So get a nice umbrella, walk around in the snow. It's very magical. It's very fun. And yeah, just remember that there are so many little like helpful warm drinks, heat packs, hand heaters there that are going to be making your trip that much better.
Yeah. Stay warm because you know what, winter's quite nice in Japan.
I do like
like it.
It's really pretty.
Yeah.
I feel like everything is really nice and pretty. Yeah. So come out and visit in the wintertime. If you have any tips for surviving winter Japan, if you have any questions about how you can survive winter Japan, leave us a comment down below. Be sure to like and subscribe. And if you have something a little more personal that you don't want to share with the class, you can always send us an email at thewaitingroomjpn@gmail.com.
Yep. Or hit us up on Instagram at thewaitingroomjpn. Let us know if you've had the plague too.
Yeah, let us know your experience with the plague and if it was similar to mine, which was basically a long hangover.
Ding, ding, ding.
Bring out your dead. I'm not dead yet.
Hang on.
Yeah, they haven't got me yet. So we will see you next time right here in the waiting room. Ta-ta.
Take it easy, guys.